Hey guys, this is Gerald with DjangoAddict. This is a channel for beginners to learn a little bit about things like web development, data science, and just programming in general. In the previous video, we talked a little bit about what was behind this. So, little backstory, Vin Diesel was in town in La Romana, Dominican Republic, working with a charity, and I decided to contribute to the cause and start a charity as well. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Is we're going to be walking through how to post a web page for free and host it on the internet. Because normally, once you have your code written, you're going to have to find a hosting provider, which if you get an inexpensive one is going to charge you anywhere from $5 to $10 a month. What we're going to do today is have this hosted for free on GitHub Pages. This is only for front-end code, nothing with a back-end code or database, but it's more than enough for an informational page. So first we have to create the web page, which I've already done. If you are interested in seeing that, I can walk you through how to use Bootstrapped, MDL Lite, which are basically HTML and CSS frameworks. I'll also be walking you through how to use HTML and CSS straight up. There's benefits to using Bootstrap and MDL Lite, especially as a full stack programmer, and if you want to just get up something very quickly, they get a lot of the stuff done for you. And then next, what we're going to be doing is getting the web page its own custom domain name. Instead of being github.google.com, it would be just www.google.com. If you're brand new to programming, I realize I'm skipping over a few steps, but like I told you, we're gonna get there. I'll walk you through HTML and CSS, and we're gonna get all the way to hosting the web page on the internet. Okay, so first what we're going to be doing is we're going to be signing up for a GitHub account. So if you don't have one, you need to get one. There's no other way around that. And then once you're signed into the site, then that's when we're going to be creating a repository. So let me just get signed in here. You're going to create a repository, which you can find over here. In the top right over here, you're going to click over here, and you're going to click on repositories, and it'll bring you to the repository page. You're going to click, see, here's an existing repository. You're going to click on new. Okay, new, and we're going to give the repository a name. So let's say PC Dominican Republic. Okay, and if you want, you can put a little description. And then just click create, and the repository is up. So let's see here, cd code, what do I do here? Okay, so guys, one thing that I want to tell you is I told you that we're skipping ahead a few steps. If you're a brand new beginner, I'll walk you through this as well. This is how to use your terminal. You're gonna want to know this as a beginner. A lot of tutorials show you how to get through the cool stuff first, and that's fine if you want to skip ahead, but to really work on your fundamentals, you're gonna want to get to know a Linux system. You can work with CMD, command prompt is right over here, but why bother? You're gonna have to have all these workarounds and stuff to get your stuff running, and then you're gonna have to unlearn it. all and then learn Linux when you're finally ready to deploy stuff to the internet. Do yourself a favor and just get straight to Linux. Okay, so next what we're going to do is, let's see here, get into our folder. And then we're going to open up our code editor. I use Visual Studio Code, but you know, use whatever you're comfortable with. You know, there's also other good ones that I've used, including was it Atom.io text editor. There's Vim, which is very popular. Sublime text editor. PyCharm, which is also another good one. So anyway, let's see. Okay, once we have our code editor up, so as you see here, right over here, you're gonna want to follow along with these steps so that you can make sure that you initialize your Git repository correctly. So we just do that, reinitialize. Okay, so I already created one. That's why it has this message here. Okay, so git add all. Okay, git commit. Okay, that added everything from my folders here to the Git repository. As you see, I have all this stuff that has nothing to do with the website. I basically downloaded a theme to get going as fast as possible. So, and I didn't bother renaming a lot of this stuff. So anyway, there's a picture of Mark Kelly. She'll be assisting with the laptop collection. And yeah, that's me. So once we get the project committed, we're going to want to push it to the repository. First, what you do is you create your remote, which basically allows you to push this to GitHub Pages. And we're going to do that here. Okay, so git remote add. This basically adds this address, which is your Git repository, so your system knows where to send it to. Already exists, which means I already had created this. But anyway, if you're looking at the computer, your own computer, it's probably not gonna say that because you haven't added it yet. Okay, and then once we have our remote, this is when we can push to GitHub Pages. So that's what we're going to use. Git push uorigin master. And then your username is going to show up. And you have to basically just enter that in. And then enter in your password. Authentication failed. Shit. Alright guys, so I ended up deleting my Git folder and restarting. I had done this prior to recording to make it a little easier, but instead I ended up messing it up and making it harder, forgot my password and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I restarted at git init in the terminal. Next we do a git add and a git commit, which we can add a message to with the M flag. Just type in a note so that you remember what you added to your repository. GitHub or Git is different than GitHub. They work together, but they're different things. Long story short, Git is version control for your local machine, whereas GitHub is version control for your repository on the internet. This is not a course on Git or GitHub, but I'll get to those in a different video. Okay, added everything. And then we're going to create our remote, which is this address right over here. Okay, added without a problem. And then git push uorigin master, which we're doing right there. Okay, PC. Okay, and there we go. Now it's getting pushed to the repository, and let's wait a little bit while that happens. Okay, so once we have this pushed to your repository, what you're going to want to do is find your repo page, which, let's see, right over here. Let's see, go to, I'm going to walk you through the steps. Dominican Republic, there we go. So it should be right over here. Okay, so we're on our repo page, and then we're going to want to go to settings. So click settings here, and let's see, publish. Okay, GitHub Pages, there we go. Select the source. Okay, so select master branch. And once you do this, your index.html is going to be the default page. So if you don't have an index.html, it's going to render to something, a README file. So make sure to have an index.html in your page, which I do not. Where the hell? Oh, index.html. Here it is. Why is that down there? Anyway. Let me delete that. There we go. Index.html. So, okay, and we can rename this PC for Dominican Republic. Rename. Okay, so once you choose a branch, you should see here your site is ready to be published at pc4dr.github.io. See, click on that. There you go. Notice this is your username over here. Mine happens to be pc4dr, and this is your repo name. So whatever you name those things is going to be right on your project, and there you go. It's up on the internet. But again, before I said that we're going to be giving our own custom domain name, which I'll walk you through now. You're going to want to first buy one from a hosting provider, or a domain provider rather, which you can find at GoDaddy.com, which everyone knows, or which I use is an alternative, which is NameCheap.com. All right, guys, so now it's time to add a custom domain name to the web page, and we can do that by first going to the settings page of the repo. So let's see, let's go over here. So you go to the settings page, that's your repo, settings, and you scroll down GitHub Pages over here, and you scroll down to custom domain, and you just type it in. So if you want it to be www.google.com, just put in google.com right over here. GitHub Pages, custom domain. If you haven't already bought your domain name, first you can type in something over here to check if the name is available. Let's say like computers for Dominican Republic. And let's see. Oh, yeah, wow, it's available. So then you can add it to your cart and purchase. I'm not going to do that here because I already bought one. Now we're going to go to our domain provider and point this name to our GitHub Pages repository. Alright guys, so once you click manage, you're going to go to your domains here, and you're going to want to click on basic DNS. So once you do that though, you're gonna see this little green check mark pop up. Make sure to save this because I didn't, and this tripped me up for a little while because I didn't realize this was here. But if you don't click this, it's not gonna save, and you're gonna click on advanced DNS, and you know the option wasn't gonna be saved, and you're gonna be wondering what's going on. So make sure to click that, and then click on advanced DNS. Okay, so what we're gonna do is add in a CNAME record, and that's gonna be CNAME www for the host, your GitHub username .github.io. Ah shit. GitHub username and github.io, and then you're gonna click this check mark right here. Okay, so next we're gonna create a couple of A records. So here we go. Here's the first one, and you're gonna be able to find these IP addresses provided by GitHub over here. So these are the four. They're gonna be the same for everybody. Okay, there we go. An A record again. Okay, that's number 3. Copy this as well. Okay. Yep, there we go. And last one. Okay, there we go. Our website should be live in a few minutes. That's all there is to it. Alright guys, when you're all done, you should have something that looks like this. 4 A records with these IP addresses. A CNAME record with your GitHub username .github.io, and make sure to check all these check marks that are gonna be right next to here. I didn't, and it caused a couple of problems, but anyway, problem solved. And if all is well, then you should get this little green check mark on your settings page at your GitHub Pages section. Oh, and one more thing, if you guys want to take a look at the website, it's www.pc4dr.com. Let's take a look at it over here. Once again, I use MDL Lite, and it makes HTML and CSS a lot easier. Basically, because they figured out everything for you. I mean, if you're going to do HTML and CSS from scratch, it can be a pain in the ass, especially because if you're a full stack developer, you got a lot of other things to worry about. If you want to make a site real quick, you don't really need it to be custom tailored. They've Bootstrap and MDL Lite, which is a framework designed by Google, they made things a lot easier for you. Now, it seems simple, right? You have this navigation bar at top, and you want it to stay at top and be spaced exactly like this. So all of this is figured out. If you want to take a look at how it's done, you can actually download some of their themes and check how it's done. Look, so we can go here, styles. And, you know, I'm not going to make this a MDL Lite video. You know, we'll save that for another time. But basically, look, here you are. They did some selectors and they edited certain things. I'll make a video another time about HTML, CSS, and also I'll make a separate one for both Bootstrap and MDL Lite. That's all for today. I'll see you guys.